Oh, I forgot what show I like we were talking about. Oh, no chocolate, no chocolate. Amazing. We're good.
So how many bills are these? Like 6?
Right. Hey, I mean, not doing it now, but my grandma told me like you could have today till she was like 85.
Celebrated misfits, the bold, courageous, audacious, impossible dreams. So that's why. I wanted to bring everyone to Rainbow Room because I'm celebrating New York. It's misfits. It's brave, bold, audacious, hopeless, impossible dreamers, who've come to this, I would say, come to the city to find themselves, and in the celebration of the grit and the glamour that New York provides. It is also, I feel like it's one of those. The dichotomy of this city is really interesting to me because the glamour of Uptown, the vibrance of Harlem, to the, I would say, the gaudiness of Times Square, to the dark romance, beautiful romance, and poetic romance of downtown East Village and Lower East Side and Brooklyn. I wanted to bring it all together because I feel like personally, I travel a lot across the world. I came from Nepal. New York has become my home in the last 20 years, and I think when I look when I travel everywhere and I come back to New York, I feel like there's no place like this because it truly is a celebration of grit, and hard work. And I always say, you'll see a girl walking out of a gala in a ball gown and, running into a subway, picking up her ball gown, or like there's a guy coming out of in the car, just getting into a limousine. There's just so many things within the few radius, of the avenues and the blocks. I feel like you see different characters, and I left Nepal 20 years ago to come here because I wanted to live my American dream, and to be able to come here and to realize it, I wanted to bring it to Rainbow Room because it is such an iconic place, and I wanted it to be intimate. I wanted it to be glamorous. I wanted it to remind all of us why we do what we do, whether through New York Fashion Week, when New York and the Fashion Week and the city in itself, the relevance is being questioned. Let's not forget what it stood for, what it stands for. And I think this city is a true melting pot of diversity. Yeah. I brought you all the way to How are you? I think, I would say rather than the political messaging, I think with every collection of mine, sometimes there's like a blatant conversation about what culturally I think is important to have a conversation, and sometimes I feel like I want to leave it to the audience watching it to figure out. There are a lot of nuances, cultural nuances, the color use of white. Women in white suits, women in white coats, and what that signifies. And so, and a lot of these, I feel like, and I also feel like, in this day and age, I think sensuality and, what someone may deem sexy is totally up to a woman's hand. It's no longer us dictating it. So my job as I always say, my job as a designer, creative person is to tell a story, offer options, and see what they feel.
Okay, so Julianne doesn't have her shoes.
One of the things you want to do as a brand is not just talk about cultural and political, but also environmentally, right? While I haven't been fully there yet, we do whatever little we can. So it's made out of this recycled plastic bottles, and I wanted to, I feel like I was very daunted by the idea that I have to be able to do everything 100% recycle, all upcycled and all that. And I realized you actually don't. If you can just do even the smallest bit, which even if it's a 5 to 10%, collectively it becomes such a force. Thank you.